Alright, moving on to 5 and 6. This is all that absolute value stuff. Yeah, good luck to us. So, when you have an absolute value equation, notice the equals, you're going to take your equation and you're going to write 2 copies of it. And then both of them without the absolute value sign. You got 2x plus 3 equals 8. And 2x plus 3 equals, and the only difference between these two equations is the negative. So you're going to have stuff inside equals the number, and then stuff inside equals the negative number. Okay, so that's where how you're going to write your 2 equations. So now that you got them down, you're going to solve them separately, and your answer is going to be the answer for both of them. Remember, inequalities, when you have not inequalities, absolute values, when you have an absolute value equation, you will have 2 answers. If you don't have 2 answers, you did something wrong. So, we're going to solve these separately. I'm going to start with the left one. Let's subtract some 3. Now we got 2x equals 5, because a minus 3 is 5, and we'll divide by 2, and we got x equals 5 over 2. Some people think that's 2.5. That's because it is. But we'll just leave it as a fraction. Right side, we're going to take the same steps. Subtract 3. Now we got 2x equals negative 11. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals negative 11 over 2. Or 11 halves, or negative 5 and a half. Okay? Absolute value equations have 2 answers, and ta-da, we found them. Next item is we got the absolute value and then this ugly inequality thing. Okay, so today in class I mentioned how to set this up. You're going to have 2 inequalities, just like how the equation, when you have equals, you're going to have 2 equations to solve. When you have inequalities, you're going to have 2 inequalities to solve. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to copy this inequality statement twice, and one of them's just going to have 2 differences. Left one, just copy it down like it is without the absolute value. Okay, and you're going to write this stuff again, but this time you change the direction of the inequality and you make the number negative. So 2 changes, the inequality goes the other direction, and you add the negative. Other than that, they're exactly the same. And this is an OR compound inequality. We want x minus 4 to be bigger than 6, or we want x minus 4 to be less than 6. The reason we have 2 is because this absolute value, it turns things positive. So if you have a number less than negative 6, like negative 14, when you put it in the inequality, when you put it in the absolute value, it's going to make it positive. So if you have negative 14, you're going to get positive 14, which is bigger than 6, which is our goal. So that's why we're looking for numbers less than negative 6 as well. So now solve them separately. And really to do that, you should add 4 to both sides. So you got x greater than 10 on the right side, add 4. Man, I made this really easy. Why did I do this to you guys? I'm like, oh, look how easy. Anyway, now on the right side we have x is less than negative 2. So if we were to graph these guys real quick just to see what they look like, here, let's put 0 here. We'll count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12-ish, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6-ish. Okay, if we were to graph our left one here, we can put a open circle at 10, and we would shade to the right. Shade, 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 arrow. And if we were to graph our right one, we put an open circle at negative 2, and shade left. Shade, shade, shade. Okay, so that's the graph. Both of those graphs together make all the possible answers, all the possible numbers you can put in for this x. to make the statement true. And you can write those down in interval notation. The left one becomes negative infinity to negative 2 with open brackets because we have an open circle, and infinity always has a open bracket. On the right side, we go from 10 to infinity, open bracket for the same reasons, and we draw a little union symbol in the middle, and voila, all of the answer. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of... Just kidding, guys. It's... Okay, we'll find an episode. Enjoy!